You can build a business to multiple seven figures with one offer, one very specific offer. So it takes a lot of willpower, especially if you're by yourself and nobody else is pushing you to continue fighting for that dream. You just got to remain disciplined, bro. If you want to accomplish things in this life that not many people accomplish, you have to be willing to do things that not many people do, bro. If anybody can shortcut your path to success by sharing their experience and condensing your learning curve, that is worth every penny you have at your disposal. If you have to ask for it, if you have to finance it, if you have to work for it, it'll cost you way more to spend 5, 6, 7, 8 more years trying to figure it out on your own than figuring out a way to get access to the infinite resources we have on this universe to shortcut that time. The only thing holding you back is the way you think about it, your perspective. So these people like Russell Brunson, Grant, why are they still working? It's the pursuit. There is no I made it moment. There is no retirement. It's the pursuit and the impact you're going to continue to cause until the day that your eyes close and you're done, bro. That's it. I swear to you guys, we're at a very advanced level of entrepreneurship. The 90 seconds that you share with us completely transformed a lot of stuff in my head.
Alexis, thank you very much for being on the show. It's truly an honor to have you here. We've been trying to set this up for a couple of months now. So thank you for taking the time to share your knowledge with the world. It means a lot.
I appreciate it, man. Very, very happy to do so. And I'm excited to see what questions you got cooked up.
Cool.
So we can provide some value to our audience.
I hope I have some good questions. So Alexis, I want to start off by understanding, I guess, a little bit better about your upbringing. You told me that you've been kind of an entrepreneur since you were 14, but take me back a couple of years before your 14th birthday, I guess. Like, what was your childhood like? What was your upbringing like?
The way I remember it, it was a tough childhood. My parents they didn't have the best relationship. My dad was an entrepreneur. He owned a business that had multiple gyms. A lot of people are familiar with it. And I was in sports most of my life, but my home life was turbulent, chaotic, which we can definitely talk about how that kind of an upbringing really molds you to be able to handle chaos. I think my ability to run a business now and deal with the chaos definitely has to do with a lot of my childhood. It was very chaotic. It was never like a safe or sanctuary place, which, it's unfortunate that my parents hear this side of the story sometimes, but I tell them it's amazing because if I wouldn't have been through those trials and tribulations, definitely wouldn't have been able to handle my life the way I can handle it now. So before the age of 14, it was just, using sports as an escape that was my home. That was my sanctuary. Dude, I was always way too competitive, bro. I always took life way too serious and I was bullied as a kid. It was really bad. I had never really shared this on a podcast, but.
Why were you bullied?
I was too competitive. I took things too seriously. When we would go to recess and just play flag football or football, I would take it really seriously. Like I was like, I want to be the best. I want to get better. Like throw the ball correctly. Of 8 years old, 7 years old in a private middle school, private elementary school, trying to take recess seriously. But got bullied and I was in a dark spot, bro. When I was a kid, there was a lot of great memories. But you're a kid. You know what I'm saying? Like you're supposed to be nurtured and loved. And I was always being rejected by my circle. I didn't have many friends at all. And then my home life wasn't a safe spot. I watched my dad go through a lot of stuff when I was younger. And I saw things as a kid before the age of 12 that you're probably not supposed to see before the age of 12. But again, all that stuff that happened, I feel like built a very strong character and a very high level of resistance to chaos that I can manage now. So before the age of 14, there was a lot of good times. Obviously, you're a kid and you're having fun and you're going out there playing sports. I was very active, but remember a lot of dark times as well, for sure. But very, very happy that I went through that, bro, because if my life would have been a little bit different, if the ball would have rolled a little bit different and my life would have stayed the same, my parents were wealthy when I grew up. If that would have never pivoted and changed, I think I would have been in a very different spot right now. Not as favorable as the one that I'm in.
So before we started the podcast, you mentioned that you've been an entrepreneur since you were like 14. You were growing up, you saw your parents, especially your father, in business, right? Like actively working on his business, trying to grow his business. You told me that he lost everything. If he loses everything, I guess that makes you, as a business owner now, that makes you kind of think a little bit on the defensive side. You've built, I guess, this business, you don't want to lose it. Like, how do you how do you stay like every day on the offensive side, trying to grow your business without being scared of like losing everything one day?
Well, one of the things that now as that I'm older, I've been able to check my dad on. I'm like, why did it take you so long to get back on your feet? A real entrepreneur loses it once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, and it'll take a little bit of time to recover, but you'll get it back. That's what I feel like a real entrepreneur would do. Not to say he's not. He did take a big fall, but I'm not necessarily afraid to lose anything, because what I've gained is not necessarily materialistic or lifestyle or anything like that. What I've gained is skill sets, a certain mindset and certain proximity to people that give me a better understanding of how to run a business. So if things were to go to zero tomorrow, I wouldn't really dwell on it. And I feel pretty confident that I'd be able to get back on my feet pretty quickly and get back to building. That's what the fun part is, bro. The fun part, now that I'm from a different perspective, when I was that 22-year-old kid that had never made 10 grand in a month to where we're at now, the fun part isn't looking at the bank account at the end of the month and being like, we did this much money. You know, the fun part is in the trenches, trying to figure things out, building other people and getting them out of the situation that you were once in. That's the fun part. So for me, it's like, I'm always on the offense. Of course, we're always trying to mitigate risk and be cautious with what we're doing as we scale. But what got us here was aggressiveness and not having the fear of losing. So what's going to get us to the next level is being in that state of mind where we're constantly looking to keep the foot on the gas and not slow down, but at the same time being cautious. But for me, bro, the funnest part about this is being able to help other people get out of the position they're in.
And I feel like that's what almost every business is about, right? Like helping people, helping your ideal customers get to a certain destination, which is like their dream outcome. So you're 28 now. You told me that you started your entrepreneurial journey when you were 14. What was that first like jump into entrepreneurship? What were you doing when you were 14? I mean, when you're 14, I feel like most kids are just thinking about like playing with their friends. I mean, having fun, right? Like, what were you doing at 14?
Yeah, I had a company called Alextronics. So I imported...
You named it and everything.
Yeah, I had business cards and everything. I swear I had an Instagram. Wow. I had everything. My job... That's why I didn't get good grades in high school, because I wasn't focused on school. I was focused on selling. I had imported iPhone covers, chargers, headphones, different colors, battery packs to charge your iPhone mobily, and I would just advertise in between periods and just hand out business cards. Hey, if you guys need headphones, if you guys need chargers, if you guys need this, that, the third, anything electronic. Named it Alextronics, branded it, and people would know to go to me after school. I'd pop my trunk and have like my setup, with a bunch of different products for their accessories, for their electronics. And then that transitioned into me being able to get into purchasing and flipping phones. So I once ran a business where I would buy iPhones damaged, either repair them and give it back to the client, or just flip it, repair it and then flip it. So that was my first official business. And I probably, in between that and real estate, had another 11 or 12 ventures that taught me a lot. Never really stayed consistent enough to make it something worthwhile, and never really had an understanding of like sales, marketing, and these kinds of things that I understand now. So it was just more of like a wing it. I don't want to work for anybody. I don't want to trade my time for money. I want to build something myself.
I see.
Definitely got to accredit that to my dad as well.
For sure. So you were 14. You were making money, right? I mean, 14-year-olds usually aren't producing any income.
$200, $300 a day in high school.
Wow.
In 2011.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah.
What were your parents thinking when they were like looking at you making money in school? Were they telling you anything, or?
Yeah, my mom was very much on the side of like, cause she saw what happened to my dad.
Okay.
So she was like, look at this. This is a prime example of what entrepreneurship can lead to. More money, more risk, more exposure to things like drugs, women, and that kind of life. Don't do that. Don't end up like that. Play it safe. Get good grades. At that time, I was very good at baseball, pursuing a baseball career. Get into college, play some baseball, see where that takes you. So there was very much resistance from my parents. And at that point, my dad was also on like getting back into like the go to school. I have a degree, so you should get a degree too, because he had a degree. And my family, I fail to mention this sometimes, but my family, like my immediate, like my mom's cousins and people that are close to us, they're very, very wealthy as well. Never ever been given anything, and I've never ever like felt entitled to anything, but you can see the way that people operate. So I very much accredit a lot of my success to my environment, as growing up as a kid and seeing family that thought outside the box and didn't want to just grow up working for somebody.
So fast forward a little bit, a couple of years later, if I'm not mistaken, you became a caddy?
I caddied from 2017 probably to 2016 to 2019 maybe.
Okay.
2020.
So I was right before you got into your real estate career.
I was still caddying while I was doing real estate the first year. Yeah.
So, I mean, I think we can both agree that golf is a very expensive sport, and it's usually high net worth individuals, high income earners going to the golf course.
Right.
What type of conversations were you like listening? Who were you hanging out with? Or like, did you pick up some conversations from, or not really?
Not really. It's not like that, bro. I feel like if you, because the way that I caddied, it was like you're getting different people every single time. Sure, I was able to have some conversations, but you're a caddy. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're not going to really give you as much information as you'd like about their sales process, their marketing process, or how they came up in the industry. It's not like a podcast where I can interview them, and I'm coming from a much lower status position where they're just like, hey, go fetch my golf ball. That was the majority of what we got. Like what you can imagine a caddy is, it's just like a mule. Some people were very nice and some people were very conversational, but it wasn't like deep, detailed talks about their business. And I think people have a false understanding, or we create a false expectation around golf. It's not really like, at least in my experience, I've been golfing for over almost 10 years now. You're not like really chopping up, like you're not doing a deal on the golf course. You're more so building a relationship, rapport, comfort with that person, and then you go do the deal somewhere else. So you're not really talking logistics about the deal. In my experience, again.
That makes sense.
And as a caddy, I was definitely not getting the insights that you would imagine.
Of course. But now, like, seeing someone on a golf course, let's say on a friggin' Wednesday morning, were you thinking like, damn, I want to be like these people that they're able to come to a golf course Wednesday morning, like play 18 holes without a problem? Or like, were you thinking that?
Yes. But now that I'm in the trenches of entrepreneurship, they probably put in a lot of years of work to get to that position where they can be a bit hands off. But I feel like for a very heavy period of time, which is why we had that conversation earlier about certain influencers, I feel like they're advertising the wrong idea, right? They post the cars, the luxury life, this whole facade that, sure, like, bro, if I wanted to go play on a golf course right now, I could. If I wanted to drive a Lamborghini and a McLaren outside, I could. But is that the right thing to do in my current position right now? Or is it better to keep building and keep setting a foundation for my future kids and for my parents as they get older? So I think the idea that now we're kind of pivoting to a different topic, but I'd love to talk about it because I always try to give off the impression of like, this is what it's going to take to get to the next level. Like when we have calls with our people that want to join our program and our academy, I'm like, this program is great. The information is awesome. I'm going to answer all your questions. Do you want to work hard? Or do you want like a shortcut or a fast pass, right? That doesn't exist in entrepreneurship, bro. Those people you see at the golf course at 8 a.m. chilling, what's the average age, bro? 60, 70, 80? Like even if you're making a ton of money right now, you should probably be really smart about that money, bro. And think about not just yourself, because right now I can allot myself the lifestyle that I always dreamed of, really. Like I always dreamt of getting a massage every day. I get a massage like 4 or 5 times a week. I always dreamt of having an AMG and a Tesla. I have an AMG and a Tesla. I've always dreamt of being able to semi-retire or retire my family. I have my grandma that helps me out here now, and I'm able to pay for her. So I've accomplished a lot of the things that I set out to. Now it's about the next generation and the generation that brought me in. So I try to really put a picture out there and give people the real authentic truth of entrepreneurship. Even when you're at a multiple 6, small 7-figure range of income, that whole wake up and you're just doing whatever you want, like, sure, you could do that, bro. But when you're in it, bro, and you love it, all you want to do is just hunker down and keep going.
And I feel like now, especially where like instant gratification is so glorified, where you see people on social media, like 20-year-old driving a Ferrari, living this lifestyle. I mean, like maybe you're making a lot of money now, but you're not thinking about the future and the long-term business.
Right.
But so right now you mentioned that you were caddying and you were also like in real estate. You got your real estate license while you were still caddying. Mm-hmm. What got you into real estate?
Rock bottom, bro. I think that's why I have a lot of conversations with a lot of people, and I tell them, like, if you want to figure out what your peak looks like, figure out what your worst situation looks like. So in 2019, I was caddying. There's a golf course here called Crandon, Key Biscayne. And I would do, it's seasonal, right? Because in the summer, it's way too hot. They don't really have caddies. And our program has different partners in the country. So I went to Wisconsin in 2019. They were hosting what's called the Ryder Cup there in 2020, which is a big golf tournament. So they were going to expect a lot of tourists that year to play the golf course and get the experience. And the money was going to be better. Went over there. It was cold. I was alone. It was a very small city. Not the worst experience in the world, right? Looking back in the grand scheme of things, but I had no money. For the first 2 months, I slept on an air mattress that would deflate every single night, waking up at 4:30 in the morning to go wait in the caddy shack to get called up, doing 2 loops a day if I wanted to make decent money, which meant 7:30 I was out for my first one, 12 p.m. I was back in, lunch, 1:30 p.m. back out, in at 6, go to the bar with the guys because that was what they were doing, spend a quarter of what you made on Buffalo Wild Wings, eat, drink, feel like shit, not go to the gym, wake up the next day and do the same shit over again. And I was like, dude, I set a goal of saving like 20 or 30 grand, which is like, you can make like 40 grand in a season, 6 months if you bust your ass. I came home with 3 grand and in 3 weeks I was broke. It was December of 2019 and I was very, very depressed. Depression doesn't exist, but in my mind, I didn't know what was next. I was trying, right? At that point, I was trying to launch a golf ball business called Solux, which I was $25,000 in debt from because I was trying to create my own golf brand. I had the boxes designed. I had the balls designed. I did two years of our research and development, comparing my golf ball to the best golf balls. That had just flopped, right? So I came back from this trip that was going to set me up for that business. That business was no longer an idea. So I was literally just waking up and eating food and going back to sleep for like 3 weeks. I swear to God, bro. Wasn't doing anything else. And then towards the end of the year, like the last week of December, my mom knocked on my door and she's like, she saw like, I guess like an ad or something about Gold Coast real estate schools. And she's like, I swear to God, just literally knocked on my door and was like, why don't you just get your real estate license? And I was like, okay. And do what with it? I'll flip houses. I'll find money. I'll talk to our cousins, right? We'll get money together and we'll flip houses. And dude, I don't know. I took a deep breath and I was like, yeah, fuck it. Let's do it. Like, I don't know what's going to come from it. My goal wasn't to be an agent. She paid for the course, like $500. And I made a decision, bro. That's it. I made a decision and I said, I'm 22. I think I was 22 or 23 because my birthday's in January. So I was like 22, turning 23. It's like, that's it, bro. Enough is enough. I'm going to give this 5 years. I'm going to give this industry real estate 5 years. Fast forward, not to make it too long of a story, but got into Gold Coast schools and I took it very seriously, bro. I would show up early to class to get my license, right? Show up early, get to class, study, make sure I was doing everything to pass the test right away. And that's when the idea started, the teacher starts talking about what realtors do. And that's when I was like, I think I want to be an agent. I think I want to be an agent, use that to get commissions together, build capital, and then flip houses. And
so that was your initial goal, to just like make enough money to be able to flip houses and like do that for a living?
The goal was just like to get my license to go out there and find properties and flip them. Okay. Then as I started taking the course, I was like, I can be an agent, right? Okay. Fast forward, did the course, ready to go. The day before the exam, I go out to celebrate because I had just passed the course. Now we're ready to go. The weekend after, I was going to take the state exam. I go to Duffy's in Kendall and I'm like, dude, my stomach right here like is hurting. My stomach is hurting. This is not normal. It's not a normal stomach ache. I couldn't go to the bathroom. 10 hours passed by, 12 hours passed by, and my right abdomen was still hurting. I texted one of my friends that was in medical school. She was like, you probably have appendicitis. And I was like, I feel like I do. Went to sleep that night, and then 3:30 in the morning, like worst pain of my life. Go upstairs, mom, take me to the hospital. They told me that my appendix was about to burst. So I had like an emergency surgery done like at 6 something in the morning that day. And that was like the switch for me. I wasn't like gonna die, but like when you're in that moment of so much pain and they're like, you got to go to surgery right now. And like they got to put you under anesthesia. Like my mind was like, damn, shit can change really fast. So I had just passed the course, getting ready for the state exam. And that was like the moment where I was like, my life just changed. Like I'm going to completely take this to a different level right now after this experience. I woke up from surgery. I promise you there's probably a picture somewhere that I can find of me with the real estate book in my hand with like the gown on in the bed, like, I'm gonna take this fucking test. So I had to delay it 1 week because the recovery was horrible. I passed it on my first try, bawled, crying when I got out of that. I remember I was in a 2015 white Jeep Cherokee, calling my mom, crying. I just got my license. Our life just changed. I'm gonna make 6 figures this year. And went to my first office, signed up, got my license, and I walked in, bro, and I was like, that's something that I want viewers to understand. Like, I talk to a lot of agents, and they're like, oh, well, I'm just a new agent. I'm just trying to figure things out. Like, you know, like that mentality is what's going to keep you as a new agent. When I walked into Keller Williams, bro, I walked in suited and booted, and I said, who the fuck is the top broker here? I'm making 250 grand this year. Never had made more than 20 grand in a year. But I walked in and I looked around with a sense of urgency in my eyes because I thought I was going to die 2 weeks ago. I go, who the fuck is the best broker in this place? And who's going to teach me how to make 250 grand this year? I'm willing to do whatever it is. I'll stay up all night. I'll wake up early. I'll work my ass off. I'm willing to do whatever it takes to make $250,000 this year.
That was 2020 already, right?
That was 2020. Still caddying. I made
like what month?
January.
Okay.
I got my license in February. COVID was
came
right
around.
around there. I made a 90-day goal. So to give the realtors watching this, I had very specific goals, bro. I was Ubering. I was doing Postmates. I was caddying. I was doing DoorDash. All the stuff that you can imagine while still learning scripts, cold calling, prospecting, going to trainings, learning how to do real estate. And within 2 months, I was out of real estate. I was out of caddying. I was doing real estate full time now, which gave me the opportunity to really immerse myself into the education, read all these different books about real estate, go out there, make the cold calls, prospect, practice. And my 6-figure year got delayed because of COVID. I got into rentals and I did well. I made like 40 or 50 grand that year, which was more than I had ever made. And then the next year I sold $10.5 million in real estate and I made like 190 grand, 200 grand that year in 2022.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, I was going to say, like, how was getting your license and then COVID slapping you in the face, right? Like that must have been crazy. So now looking back, I guess you started in 2020. That was already 5 years ago, exactly 5 years ago, January. Now, like, is there anything that you would have done differently to like?
I would have tried to make more mistakes faster. I would have tried to take more opportunities and fail at them so that I can learn from them, because everything that I know now is because of trial and experience. I tried this, that didn't work. I got to try it a different way, right? The reason why I got so good at cold calling so fast was because I wasn't afraid, bro. My fear of continuing to live the life that I was living was way bigger than the fear of getting rejected by a stranger. So the more that I called, the more rejection and objections that I would get, the better I would get at handling it, because I was continuing to get in front of it and be able to like now maneuver it and go around it. So the only thing I regret, bro, is maybe being a bit more hesitant to invest into, which I did a lot of, but I wish I would have done more of it. Invest into more masterminds, more coaching, more events, and just fail more, bro. I have a really good relationship with failure, and I'd encourage anybody watching this right now to audit their relationship with failure, because it is the ingredient to success. Just trying and figuring out what's not working. It's more important to know what not to do than to know what to do. 100%, bro.
It's I guess everything that you said is like 100% true. I guess the only thing I would ask you is, you said you weren't scared of cold calling. You know very well that a lot of people out there watching this are like afraid of cold calling. And you said that one of the things that made you cold call people is that your fear of failure in life was bigger than the fear of cold calling. Mm-hmm. But like, let's say someone that's watching this, like they already know that. Like they already have their fear of not making it somewhere in life, but they're also really scared of cold calling. Like, what would you tell them so that they can start like getting on the phone and cold calling, aside from like getting the ball rolling?
The people that are scared to do something that's going to get them closer to their goal, they're in this weird middle ground. They're not at rock bottom, so they're not in enough pain to say I'm willing to do anything. And they're also not in a state of life where they're happy with their progress. So they're in this weird middle ground of comfort where they're like, I know I can do better, but I'm not at my worst. And what I would encourage those people to do is figure out what the fuck rock bottom is. Because I promise you, when you're at rock bottom, staying there is way more scary than making a phone call to a stranger. or going to a presentation and trying to persuade somebody to list with you or sell their property with you. Way more scary, bro. I have that. It's called a mental reframe. Like, we're humans. Our thoughts are cause and our circumstances are an effect. So whatever thought we're thinking is what we're going to feel. So just reframe the fear of cold calling, right? Okay, I'm scared to call. This person's going to make me feel like this. Close your eyes and say, oh my God, rock bottom. I know how that feels. So I can just immediately, when I'm scared to go on stage and speak in front of people, I still get nervous, very much nervous. I'm terrified to fly. I hate going on a plane, and I have to fly a lot. Immediately just reframe to rock bottom. I have very vivid visualizations of like buying my mom a house, or, my sister's graduation is coming up. Hopefully she doesn't see us before, but I have a very vivid visualization of me giving her a very, very important gift for her graduation, or being able to be very present with my children and stuff like that. And we're driven by the fear of loss as humans, right? So I feel like these things have already happened. Time just hasn't caught up. So whenever I hit a point in my business or life where I'm scared to do something, I just reframe. And I think about not being able to experience that visualization. And that becomes way more scary. And that is my thought now. My thought now, and I'm getting chills as I speak, my thought now is like, no, we have to do this right now. I need to get on stage right now. Let's go. Step into that future self, get on the plane, take a deep breath, because if not, you're not going to be able to see your mom cry when you give her the documents to her brand new house. You're not going to be able to see your kids look up to you and they're, when they're in second grade in school and the teacher asks them, who's your hero? My kid says, my dad is my hero. That moment is way more important to me than the rejection of the cold call or me throwing up on stage, right? I don't know. That's like, I feel like the worst thing that can happen when you go speak in front of people. You throw up or you forget what to say. That's scary. Me not being able to see my kid in second grade telling me that his dad is his hero is way scarier. So I just reframe.
That's powerful. Very powerful. Yeah. Thank you for sharing that, by the way.
Yeah. Thank you for asking me the question, which brought me to that thought.
For sure. So, I mean, obviously, you started your career. You had this goal to make a ton of money. A shit ton of money, I was going to say. But, like, so you start making phone calls. Is there a point where you hit, like, a wall that you were getting, like, so many rejections that you were like, wow, like, this is much harder than I thought it would be?
No, bro, because I did a lot of door-to-door sales.
Before that,
okay. I owned a car wash business, and the way I would prospect was I would go to Hibiscus Island, Venetian Islands, and
so the good prospects.
I do door to door, bro, and I had no fear, bro.
So you had already battled that.
I had no fear, bro. The setting. Imagine this, bro. I walk into, it was a Keller Williams office. Call it day 3 or day 4, and I'm a new guy. I'm the new guy, right? And it's a bullpen. It's like maybe, from my room to here, and it's about 20 people in there, 15 people cold calling, and they're hearing my conversations. And then I got an appointment like on the 3rd day, and they're like, how the fuck did you do that? Like kind of like Wolf of Wall Street type shit. I was like, bro, I literally, when I got the scripts, they were really bad scripts, by the way. I'm not going to say whose scripts they were, but they were really bad scripts. Memorized them, read through them, made a ton of phone calls, wrote down every single objection, and just started having a conversation with another human being, bro. Like, just started asking them questions around their goals, which was, I felt like common sense at that point, and just kept trying to move the conversation forward, bro. If you hear my dialect back then, it was nothing to do with what I have now, because I have a very much more deeper understanding of how to process these phone calls. But people feel authenticity, bro. When you're genuinely, because I was genuinely, my intentions were always to help people. If I was talking to a seller, if I was talking to a buyer, I might have not had all the knowledge I needed, but I know I had the support system. And I know that nobody was going to outwork me, bro. If you gave me your listing, I took a listing one time. It was like almost a $2 million listing that my direct competitor was by far one of the best realtors in Miami. His name is Michael Martinez. People probably know who I'm talking about. I took that listing over him because I showed that seller that I was willing to do whatever it took to get his house sold. Michael's this prestigious guy that has sold probably thousands of houses in Pinecrest, and I had never sold one. And I go, bro, Michael is way more qualified to do this than I am. But Michael's not going to lose sleep over this property. I am. So ask yourself what you want. If you want the experience and you want Michael to hand you off to his assistant, go for that. I promise you I will find a way to get this home sold for the most amount of money. You need to give me an opportunity. I have fire in my heart. If I sell this house, I'm moving out of my house. I'm buying my own apartment, renting my own apartment. I can get a new car. I can take care of my sister. I can take care of my mom. I'm going to lose sleep over this, bro. And that guy signed with me, bro. I didn't sell that house. I did not sell the house because he ended up changing his plans, but I got the listing, bro. And you got to be able, like, to get into a quick another side note, you got to be able to show people, like in sales, your energy is everything, bro. You can't make 200 grand and then have the energy of someone that makes 200 grand. You need to bring that energy before you make 200 grand. The energy comes first, bro. And I think that was very important for me. Like, as someone that had never made more than 20 grand in a year, 30 grand in a year, I was looking people in the eyes, bro, and telling them that I'm going to work harder than anybody else to get this property sold. And people bought that shit, bro. They bought energy. People buy energy. But when you're on the phone, like, hesitant, scared, and not confident, bro, I didn't know shit, bro. I didn't know anything about a contract, bro. But I knew about intentions. I knew about being authentic. I knew about caring about people, and I knew about hard work.
And I guess all of that comes with a little bit of like self-belief and like believing in yourself and really knowing that you're going to make it. Or
it's all delusion, bro. Because I had no qualifications. If anybody believes in themselves, like my friends watching this right now that go back, you know, have known me since elementary, middle, and high school, they're like, dude, that kid always believed in himself, bro. I was like a really small, scrawny kid. You can line me up against someone in 8th grade in flag football that was way bigger than me. I'm like, I'm going to take your ass down. I don't know, bro. I'm playing tennis now, bro. I'm 3 weeks into tennis and I'm destroying people that have been playing tennis for 5 years. Really? I just believe in myself, bro. I obviously have a certain athletic ability and right, like I have a certain sales ability because I've been doing it since I was a lot younger, but I've always just heavily believed in myself to the point where people on the outside that, let's say they don't watch this podcast, right, and they see one of my reels, they're like, this guy's really arrogant or whatever, right? He's very cocky. And it's just a heavy, heavy self-belief. And I wish people could feel that way because you feel unstoppable, bro. Like you feel like you can do anything you put your mind to. And it's a very, very, that's why I'm telling you, it's not about, remember we were talking about like losing stuff, and I never wake up scared, bro, because I believe in myself so much. I almost like, I would love to see what it would be like to fucking start over again, you know?
Oh, that's crazy.
Like, it's almost like fun for me. That would be fun for me, but
little challenge.
For me, it's not about me anymore. It's about making sure I can still provide for my grandma, making sure the people that are under me, I'm responsible for people's income now, right? That to me is a heavy responsibility. So I don't take that lightly. So I'm not going to fuck around and do that again. But I'm the kind of guy that, bro, brother, I came from a fucking air mattress, dog, 5 years ago. You know what I'm saying? Making $100 a day. I'm good, bro. I'm good. I got the Rolex on now. I got the 2 cars outside. I live in a nice lifestyle. I fly first class now. Take it away from me, bro. I dare you, dog. I'll bring it back bigger and better in less than 12 months, bro. I'm not scared. No attachment to materials, bro. I worked my ass off for it, so I'm definitely going to enjoy it. I wanted to talk to you about something really quick to share with the audience. You told me about the 20-year-old with the Ferrari. There's 2 sides to that, right? I do think that when you're young and you're making a ton of money, you're never going to be young and making a ton of money again. You're going to be older making a ton of money. So I do think there has to be a part of you that enjoys a certain percent of your income, because I'm not going to say that I don't enjoy getting in my Mercedes AMG every single day for myself and driving the car that I once printed out a picture of the steering wheel and put it on my Honda Civic in 2012 and dreamt of that car. I'm not going to lie. It does feel good to do that. So there is a part of me that wants to encourage younger people that have high income to experience that, because you're never going to be 24, 25, 28 and being able to do it again. When you're 60 and you're hopping in a Huracan or an Aventador, it's cool, but it's not that cool to do it as if you were 28. So there's that side of it, but there's also a side of it that, you know, let's say you make $30 million from here to, like, let's say I make 30 mil from here to the time I'm 40. You got to put away a percentage of that, bro, and set yourself up for life, because you don't know what's going to happen. You know, you can always go out there and get it back, but it's always good to have a foundation to start from. So you got to have that's the only time I believe in the word balance.
Yeah. And I mean, especially now that you've built up like all these skills, you know what you're doing, you know how to grow a business, you know how to teach people how to make more money. Like it gives you a little bit more, I guess, confidence and relief knowing that you know how to make money, right? Like, I mean, losing everything, yeah, it's cool, but you know, you have the skill to sell, I mean, you have a team that does marketing, you have the skills that are needed
for sure
to grow a business. You, in one of your videos, I saw that you said that the number 1 hack to cold calling was pattern interruption. Can you elaborate on that?
Yeah, I think we live in a world where everybody sounds the same. That's why I'm so passionate about what I'm doing right now in the real estate space. When I first got those scripts that first year, I was like, bro, this is if somebody called me with this is horrible. This is garbage, bro. So I started trying out different things, right? And a pattern interrupt is about saying something different at a different time in the call in a different way with a different tonality. And quickly interrupting whatever. Like if someone's used to hearing, hey, Giovanny, this is Alexis. I'm calling you from ABC Realty. I'm looking at your property here with that same tone. If I say, hey, Giovanny, yeah, Giovanny, really quick, man. I'm not sure if you can help. I'm actually looking at a property on 5th Street. Is that still available or did you already put that under contract? Slower, more deeper tone, more curiosity within my voice, right? It's slight. It's nothing. It's just to get you in the conversation, bro. Same thing with door to door. Same thing with girls, right? Like if you go to a girl at a bar and you go up with the same, smile and the same pitch and the same words that every other guy is saying, right? Like if you go up to a girl at a bar and instead of saying, hey, you're so beautiful, like, can I buy you a drink? Instead say, look, I know you've probably heard this 100 times and I know exactly what you're going to say, but I couldn't feel like leaving here without letting you know that you're absolutely beautiful. Have a great day. And then you just walk away. It's a little bit different than, you know what I'm saying? Like that's also, we tie that into what's called objection prevention. In the beginning of a phone call, like in the movie 8 Mile, Eminem said everything that they could have said about him. And now they couldn't say that. So when I cold call somebody, I'm like, hey, look, John, I know you're probably busy. I know you're probably getting a ton of these calls. I know you don't want to work with an agent. I'll be very brief. Now you just took off all the ammunition that he was about to fire your way. So if you go up to a girl at a bar, maybe we should start a course to teach guys how to get girls at a bar. And you tell them like, look, I know you've probably gotten this 1,000 times today, and I know you're probably gonna tell me you have a boyfriend or something like that, but it's like, what is she gonna say now? You know what I'm saying? Like it might not work every single time.
There's
but
nothing to say.
It definitely gives you a higher conversion rate. And with that example that we're giving, everything in life is sales, bro. Everything. The friends that you have, the relationships that you've ever had, the money that you bring in. People tell me, like, I talk to my realtors and they're like, why? I don't like being a salesperson. I don't like being in sales. You don't like fucking success in. Everything is sales. Everything in this life, the people that you convince to go out with you at night, if you call your friends and you tell them, hey, let's go to this place, you're selling them on the idea of investing their time into that place at night. Everything is sales, bro. It's the most powerful. That's why, bro, I've started from zero many, many times in the last 5 years. I've started from zero a few different times, and I've proven to myself time and time again. Not that long ago, bro, we were in a different spot, and it's fun, bro. It's fun not to go from zero, but to go from a spot where your back's up against a wall and prove to yourself in a short period of time that you can get back on the horse. It built an insane level of confidence, bro. Because if they were to strip my shit tomorrow, I'm like, all right, bet, let's just go sell some stuff. Let's go provide some value to some people and help them get up out of their situation. And that is immediately going to get us up and out of our situation.
Yeah, I mean, it's all about the value exchange. I remember when I first started my finance career, I was doing a lot of cold calling. And I noticed that, I mean, the more scripted you sound, and it's just what you said right now, it's all about that pattern interruption, sounding different than a bunch of other people. I have called them already throughout the day. Mm-hmm. Like you start, I guess, predicting the objections that people are going to give you, right? And I feel like I was running into conversations where it wasn't even a sales conversation. I already knew what that person was going to tell me because I feel like cold calling gives you that ability to predict what people are going to tell you. Like, does that happen to you?
Yeah, I mean, I obviously have a very good, I usually get what I want in any kind of situation because I have a pretty good understanding of, not even of what people are going to say, I have a pretty good understanding of human psychology and the way that we make decisions and the way that we process information. And it's important knowing this because your ability to persuade people for the good, right? When you have good intentions and you're persuading them to put themselves in a better position, it's empowering, bro, because you can help people. It's not about like, for example, there's a book out there that it's a very controversial book, The 48 Laws of Power. Okay. If you use that book with good intentions, because to get some of the people in my program, it's not like they just tell me, yeah, like, let's do it. I got to think about it. This is tough. This is scary. I got to sit on it. I got to talk to my wife, my husband. If I didn't have the ability to persuade them to move forward, I would have never been able to put them in a position where they can access people and information that can move their business forward. So you need to understand how to persuade people. You need to understand how to sell as long as you have good intentions. If you have bad intentions and you're selling shit and you're selling, garbage to people, that energy is going to come back around to you as well. Life has laws, bro. This is not like a coincidence. The people that think it's a theory, this universe has a set of laws that are operational. and that cannot be changed. If you learn those laws and you learn how to follow them and you understand them, it's very, very difficult to lose in life.
I mean, I couldn't agree more with that. And I feel like, yeah, you can make a lot of money if you're selling a product, and it could be like a very bad product. But then afterwards, like, people are not going to talk about you. People are going to talk bad about you. What's your, I guess, like, the people that are watching this, that they're making cold calls, what's your process to handle objections over the phone? I know that you said objection, you said objection. Prevention. But like, let's say someone does give you an objection while you're on the phone call. Like, what's your process to handle that objection?
Yeah. The first thing you got to understand when you're handling objections is you got to be able to really listen to that person. And I'm very good at visualization. I've done a lot of repetition in my life when it comes to visualizing things. And I've gotten really good at listening to people and feeling their energy. Where is this person at? Where is their thought process? Where is their mind right now? And when someone gives me an objection, instead of just trying to handle it and overcome it and shove the sale forward, I'm like really listening, and I'm like, all right, I understand. I hear you, right? And I make them feel genuinely heard. I agree. I acknowledge with them, and then I reframe. Let's say you tell me, hey, Alexis, I'm not in a rush to sell my property. Giovanny, I mean, from what you're telling me, it sounds like you're not, which is number one. I think that's a good thing that you're not in a rush. So you're not going to make any decisions that are not good. You know, let me ask you this just so I get some clarity and see where we're at. If someone did come across now that was open to buying your property sooner, is that an idea you'd be completely against? So you see how I genuinely agreed with you. I was like, that's cool, bro, that you're not in a rush. It's actually favorable that you're not, just so I get some clarity and understanding. It's very important to use neutral words as well. If I were to position you somebody that was able to do it sooner, not quicker, sooner, is that something you'd be opposed to taking a look at? No, I wouldn't be against that. I wouldn't be against doing it sooner, but I'm not in a rush. Okay, great. So we just now shortened your timeline. My process is agree, acknowledge, isolate, which means really identify what the objection is, the real objection, and then tie them down, which means, like, let's say your objection is, I have someone else that I would work with. I have a family friend. Hey, Giovanny, that's actually great. It's good that you have someone in mind as a plan B. That way you're obviously looking at all your options. Just out of curiosity, I mean, is the main objective with this whole transaction to sell the property for the most amount of money? Yeah. So I know you have someone in mind, and I completely respect that. I do not want to step on anybody's toes. Just out of curiosity, let's say you did meet with another individual that actually presented a better plan and aligned with your financial goal significantly greater. Is the idea of working with that person something you'd be open to, or are you completely obligated to working with that other individual, even if it meant making less money?
So you agree, you acknowledge.
I isolate the objection, and then a tie down is basically like, hey, Giovanny, I mean, I'm assuming from what you're telling me and what I've gathered so far, your main goal here is to sell the property for more money, right? Yeah, right. Yeah, that's a tie down.
So I guess in every industry, when you're making a cold call, you're not trying to make a sale over the phone. You're trying to like set up a meeting.
You're trying to set up the next meeting.
Correct. When you set up that meeting, like whatever industry you're in, like how do you maximize your chances of like converting that prospect to a client? How do you stand out?
That's such a good question, man. How do you stand out? You got to make sure that, number one, that person has a problem that you can directly solve. I feel like a lot of people in entrepreneurship with their offers nowadays, they go too wide. They try to cover too many different avatars. What we do is we cover one avatar. If you're a realtor and you want to get better at prospecting, cold calling, and converting more listings, that's what we can help you directly with. If you want to do anything else in real estate, I can help you, but that's not what my offer is. Because I don't try to go wide, I try to go deep with my avatars. So I think having a good understanding of the person's problem and your ability to solve that problem is going to give you a substantially higher rate. Because if let's say you create a program that helps realtors close more deals. That's number one. Or let's say you create a program that helps part-time realtors get into full-time real estate with cold calling for listings in Miami.
It's much better.
It's much more specific. So when you're on that call, we already have an understanding that your problem, I have the direct solution for it.
You can charge more for it too.
And you can charge way more for it, but it's not about that. It's about just understanding what problem you can solve and how specific you can get with it.
Yeah, I feel like that's like one of the main problems that businesses make, and it's that their marketing is like too wide instead of like
one-stop
just
shop. They want to be a one-stop shop.
Exactly.
And you can get there eventually, but I feel like you have to start very, very narrow, bro. There's so much money in narrow. Like you can build a business to multiple seven figures with one offer, one very specific offer. And then, bro, you don't think I can make videos on high ticket sales right now people don't even know, bro. There's all these high ticket guys out there that are really, really good. People haven't seen my shit, bro. Like, you think my real estate stuff is good? You have not seen my calls onboarding students. Nobody has seen that yet. And the day that we come out with that kind of content, the world is going to be put on watch, because
I want to see it now.
it's there. We have hundreds of videos of me handling the craziest objections and closing people and putting them in my program and helping them. No one has seen it yet because I'm very focused on my offer. I could easily make videos on high ticket sales and get people from McDonald's to pay me $2,500 and then teach them how to sell and get them in an offer. We could do that. It's going to happen one day. But right now we're very focused. I think as an entrepreneur and as a business owner, knowing when to say no is very important, because I could just be chasing that right now, bro. Trust me, bro. Trust me, dog. Like the content that I have in our strategy for high ticket sales is up there. It is top. And people will find out one day. But right now I'm very focused on helping my real estate agents, and that is what's working for us. And us understanding the ability and having the power to say no is keeping us focused and grounded and moving to our goal quicker. But entrepreneurs get lost with the shiny object syndrome, bro.
For sure. And I feel like, well, one of the things that we touched on was like the not going so wide when it comes to your ideal client, your target audience. Mm-hmm. But I feel like the second thing is like, you were so good at what you did, like cold calling, and just being a realtor overall, that you had an epiphany, a moment where you realized that you were really good at what you were doing, and you felt like you were able to help other people make a lot of money in real estate. And I feel like one of the things that enabled you to have like so much success is you had the affinity with your target audience. Why? Because you were in their shoes, maybe like where they are now. So you're able to understand their dream outcome, like what they really want to accomplish in life, what it is that they fear. You mentioned that one of the main drivers of people is like the fear of losing something, right? Mm-hmm. So you're able to know like all of their dream outcomes and like I guess what they're really scared of losing. And like, I want to know, like, at what point did you stop and say, like, I should be helping other realtors, like make a shit ton more money in their real estate careers?
Very early on, bro. Probably after year 2, when I made the first 200 grand.
So I was like 2022
was my first year post-COVID that I did sales. Like, that was the first year, because I started cold calling the first year. Then COVID hit. People were like not selling their houses. I needed to transition out of my job, so I started doing rentals. And then I started cold calling again, like about 13 months after. And I made 200 grand that year. And, you know, I would obviously, I was on a team. And I was the youngest one there, and I was the least experienced there, and I became the number one producer from people that were doing, you know, real estate for over 10 years. And naturally, you start. I'm very much the kind of person that does not gatekeep anything, bro. Because number one, I can tell 150 people to do exactly what it is that you have to do. Nobody's gonna fucking do it. Nobody's gonna do it because it's too hard. So I was sharing a lot of information with my team at that point. It's like a team of 12 people. And they started picking up the cold calling, and it started working for them. And I'm like, damn, I'm not just good at doing it. I'm also good at transferring the information. So the brokerage that I was at that point was very collaborative, and I was very much open to share everything that I was doing. And I got invited to do a training in front of like 80 agents, April of 2022. And that was the day, bro. That was the day where I first public spoke. I was so scared. I walked into the room and I was like, damn, there's 80 people in here. And my public speaking skills were horrible, but after the presentation, people were like, yo, this is crazy information, you know? Very different approach to cold calling. Very, very much an open approach. No script. I offer scripts, but bro, it's just a baseline. I tell everybody it's just a baseline. There's so much more that goes into not just calling, but prospecting in general and sales. And that was the day where I found the passion for teaching others. I immediately started my own team. And then the idea of the academy became, bro, it's really crazy to see, because like I don't talk about my shit that much, bro. I really appreciate you coming over here and taking your time to ask me these questions, because it helps me self-realize how far you can go in such a short period of time. Because in 2023 was when this thing was born, and to see how far it's come in such a short period of time is crazy, bro. We're helping a lot of realtors. I think we just hit 2,000 members in our free school. We probably have over God knows how many countries in there, which is crazy. But it all started on a whim, bro. And it all goes back to just self-belief. Like, before the academy existed, I was like, I'm the best at this stuff. Whether it's true or not, it eventually does become true, bro. Your brain, I'm reading a book right now. It's called The Power of Your Subconscious Mind. People don't understand the power within them, bro. If you really understood how powerful each and every one of you guys are, and you learned just even a little fraction of how to tap into that power, you'd become infinite. It's all about what you believe is true. And I've always believed what I've told myself. I've always believed in sports that I'm the best. In real estate, I believe that I was the best. Bro, I thought I was the best fucking caddy, bro. Like, I've always just thought that I was the best. And whether or not it was factual at that point in time, you become someone in the top 1%.
And it's great knowing that you have this mentality, and it seems like you've always had it, even though like your upbringing was maybe like tougher than it was supposed to be. And you said like you were even bullied, and even though you were bullied, like you still had this self-confidence that you were able to do like whatever it is that you wanted to do. Mm-hmm. And like you have all these things driving you. And how was that moment when you first spoke in front of like hundreds of agents? Like, were you scared? Because I mean, I've tried public speaking before, and it's nerve-wracking.
You want to hear what the craziest part is? The first time I spoke in front of hundreds of people was in Spain in Spanish.
Wow.
Which is fucking crazy.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah. I speak Spanish. I speak good Spanish, but I was across the pond by myself in a room of like 500 people, and I spoke in Spanish. Yeah, that was crazy.
How long was it, the presentation?
It was 2 days. The first speech was like 45 minutes. I was really nervous, bro. The lights were in my face. Like I crushed it. People loved it. I didn't think I did that well. I thought I was all over the place. But the next day I came in with a stronger presentation, and I really blew that one out of the water. I crushed it. But there's a lot of rehearsal that goes into this, bro, mentally. A lot of visualization. Every single image that I've ever ingrained in my brain and really, really practiced and believed in it, it all happens, bro. Every single one. I remember one specifically because I would drive to Crandon, Key Biscayne a lot for the caddying, and I would see people like on a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday riding their jet skis, and I'm like, I want to do that one day. So I would just close my eyes, bro, and just feel the waves, the water splashing in my face, the feeling of buying a jet ski, feeling dropping the jet ski in the water, and all these different routines that I would create. And it, I think my first 6 months in real estate, I bought a jet ski, and it's not the craziest thing in the world, but it just goes to put into perspective that anything that you really ingrain in your mind and you believe, like this, all this stuff that's happening right now is just a physical representation of your thoughts. I have a tattoo here that says thoughts become things. It couldn't be further from it couldn't be closer to the truth, bro. Everything that you really believe, it's not just like Ferrari. No, it's like you have to really ingrain it in your brain and believe it, and it will eventually become a reality, bro.
You have to really believe that you can accomplish whatever it is that you want to accomplish.
You can do whatever you want, bro.
Right now, like, I mean, when you're doing presentations, I don't know who's bringing you out to these presentations, but like, do you have a goal with the presentation? Like, do you have a call to action at, like in the end to
give them free resources, give them all my trainings. But my goal every time is to just impact people, even if it's just one person. It's just to change somebody's perspective on life and give them the energy that they need to pursue the goal. My biggest goal, bro, and this is something I've had in my head since I was in high school, is to speak to high school students or middle school students and those kids that have that burning desire in them to chase entrepreneurship, to ignite it on fire and make sure they pursue their dreams. Because we're in such a generation where like the whole school thing is so pushed and it's so bad, bro. I mean, the school system is so screwed, and it's so bad, and it kills a lot of entrepreneurs' dreams because there was so much resistance for me between high school and college. I went to college, bro. I tried to do college. It did not work out. But I'm trying to chase my dreams, and it takes so long for people to realize that it actually works, that in the process of the failure, they're like, bro, why don't you just stop and get a job? This is obviously not working. Just play it safe. Stop. So it takes a lot of willpower, especially if you're by yourself and nobody else is pushing you to continue fighting for that dream. Imagine if I would have stopped fighting, brother. It's not about the money, but like I'm in a much more favorable position than everybody that fucking bullied me. Fuck you. That bullied me in middle school, right? I wanted to do that real quick. But I want to empower those kids that are in middle school and high school that have that little burning desire, that the people that care about them the most, bro, they're not trying to do it, but they're trying to blow out that flame. My mom was like, she sat me down multiple times. She's like, stop doing this. Imagine if I would have listened to her, bro. I had to sit her down at like 21. Remember, bro, my hair was dyed blue. My hair was dyed blue. I had this girlfriend that was like convincing me to dye my hair and shit. And I sat her down and I was like, I'm going to drop out of school. She started crying. I was like, I promise you, I swear to God, one day this will all make sense. And now I get to look down, because she's seen me speak before. I get to look down from stage and talk about my mom and share that story with her in the crowd crying. And that is worth it, bro. That to me is worth so I want to go out there and share that with other entrepreneurs that are going through the same level of resistance, because it's not easy, bro. It's not easy coming up from nothing and having to just basically believe and see what nobody else sees. That's what we call vision. When you see what nobody else sees, even after hundreds of rejections, thousands of failures, you still see that vision. You still see it super clear. Bro, I always saw it super clearly, bro. I don't know, dog. I don't know if you want to call it God that put this desire in me, but if you're seeing a vision right now, it's for a reason. Do not give up on that vision, bro, because it is all possible. And it is, the feeling of actually experiencing it is way crazier than what you thought, it was. Bro, I cry myself to sleep 5 days a week thinking about buying my mama a house, bro. And we'll do another podcast. We'll do a podcast the day I buy my mama a house, bro. Like in cash, bro. Like I have that. That is, and part of your dreams is vocalizing it with confidence to people. Everything that I've ever accomplished and every new thing that I've gotten is because I'm not scared to share it. Have you ever seen that video of Conor McGregor where he's like, if you can see it here and you speak it, it will happen. So you need to believe it first and you need to bring it into the universe, bro. Bring it into the universe. I'm going to buy you a house, mom. I got your back. You got to believe in yourself, bro. You have to, if anybody can draw anything away from this podcast, it's the energy, bro, that you have to bring into this life. There's a lot of negative things going on in my life right now that I could focus on, but I choose to not focus on them. I choose to focus my energy on the positive and what's moving things forward. I have bad moments. I have bad days sometimes. I have bad thoughts all the time. I choose to not focus on them. Right. And I'd love to talk about discipline for a second as well, bro, because it's not about, this podcast might motivate some people. It might get you fired up. It might get you feeling some kind of way. The only reason why I'm here today is because I choose to do what I don't want to do every single time. When I set a goal, when you set a goal and you want to make a certain amount of money, you want to buy a car, in that moment, when you're sitting down, writing that goal, you're making that vision board, you feel motivated. You feel good. But months after that goal is set, years sometimes, that feeling is long gone, bro. And you need to honor your word.
Maybe a couple of weeks after. Not even that long after.
Maybe a couple of days after, bro. You need to, the days where you're like, today, bro, today. I woke up and I said, I don't want to do anything today, bro. And immediately I was like, out of it, snap out of it. Just, I don't feel like doing shit most of the time. But the second you start doing it, that's the whole thing about energy and momentum. I could go on this podcast with you. I promise you, if you don't stop me, I will talk for 48 hours. I swear to God, you will not stop me, bro. I will not go to sleep. It's all about getting into the moment, bro. Once you're in the moment, it's called momentum, energy flows, and you just got to remain disciplined, bro. If you want to accomplish things in this life that not many people accomplish, you have to be willing to do things that not many people do, bro. And that's why earlier we talked about people making it look pretty. It's not pretty, bro. This is not pretty, bro. I deal with a lot of pressure. I deal with a lot of stress. It's not stressful for me, but it's a lot of pressure, bro, that you got to handle. A lot of people's lives that you have. Like, if I don't feel like doing shit, that's going to affect him. That's going to affect her. That's going to affect my grandma. That's going to affect my mom, my sister, my sales reps, my students. I have a community of 300 people right now and over 2,000 in our free community that rely on my information to move their sales forward. That's pressure, but I fucking love it, bro. I wouldn't want to have it any other way.
That's amazing. I mean, everything that you said, I was going to ask you a question, but like you pretty much answered everything. I was going to ask you to, like, if you could give a word of advice to someone that maybe isn't feeling well, that maybe they're going through a terrible moment, like what would you tell them? But you pretty much hit like everything that you had to hit, you hit it.
I mean, I can definitely elaborate, bro. If anybody's going through a terrible moment right now, when you're down, the only way to look is up, bro. When you're down, what I've learned, bro, is that when you're down, that is valuable time, because you need to look around when you're down, and look around, look at your environment, look who's around, really dwell into that feeling and remember it. That way, when you're up, you don't forget about that shit. Because when you're down, people want it to pass, they want it to go by. But the biggest lessons, bro, the biggest awakenings that you'll have in your life are in the moments of downness, bro. When things are going good, bro, everybody's around you. Everybody wants to be your friend. Everything seems fine. But if you never have a down moment, or you forgot about your down moment, when you're up, you're not going to be looking around and being preventative and cautious. Not about being less aggressive, but just about being careful about your situation. So when I'm down, bro, I sit in it. I'm like, I'm down right now. And it helps me stay up. So if you're down right now, understand that you're being put through that test right now. You're going through that valley right now, because after that valley, there's some sort of peak. But in that peak, for you to maintain there, you have to build a certain character. You have to have a certain understanding of how things operate to maintain it. So let's say this year you prayed and you set a goal and you said, I want to have the biggest year of my life. I want to accomplish the biggest things I've ever accomplished. The first thing that comes is a test or multiple tests. You need to show the universe, God, whatever you believe in, that you are worthy and capable of maintaining what you want. Because when you ask for something, you're going to get it. And the universe is doing its best to give you that. But it doesn't want to give it to you for you to lose it. So you need to build the character. You need to build the values and the lessons of the person that's going to maintain that. Bro, if you would have given me $1 million at 23, I mean, I made over $1 million in commissions my first 3 years. Gone. But if I didn't have that understanding and those lessons and the character that I have now, when I go out there and make 10 million over the next 2 or 3 years, it would have been gone too. The things that you get put through are done on purpose so that you can keep what is coming your way, bro. So if you're going through some really hard shit right now, that's really exciting. Really, really exciting, because you're building some crazy character.
And I guess that's a part of like every good story. It's not only like the outer goals that you accomplish. It's not like the things that you can see, the nice house, the nice cars, whatever. It's actually like the person that you become
to get there.
That's very powerful. Like everything they say right now is so powerful. You've shared so much value. I want to give you like one piece of value that I hope it works for you. I know you read a lot. I can tell by the books. Mm-hmm. There's this really good book that we're actually talking about right now. It's called Expert Secrets. Okay. Have you read it?
No.
By Russell Brunson. I recommend it like 200%.
Okay.
And it talks about how to structure like presentations, because as you mentioned earlier, people have like false beliefs in their running in their mind, right? Right. Like they're constantly like running those false beliefs. And when you're actually like trying to structure a presentation, it could be like, let's say cold calling, right? Mm-hmm. You're doing a presentation and the point that you're trying to get across is that cold calling is the way to be successful in real estate. So people automatically have 3 false beliefs that are running in their brain, right? The first one is the vehicle false belief, which is cold calling. So you have to prove why the vehicle is the key to be successful in real estate. Then after that, after you explain the vehicle, it's the internal false belief. So why can't I do cold calling, right? You have to prove to them that no matter who they are, no matter like if they don't speak English or if they have an accent, you have to prove to them why cold calling works for them. And then the third thing would be like the external. So I can't do cold calling because of that. So it's not because of me, but it's because of like something X. So like if you hit those 3 points, then you automatically like rewire their brain.
Yeah.
And like those 3 points are going to convince them to do like whatever it is that you want them to do. Right. And if it's like to get them to join your program, to get them to do like to join your mastermind, whatever. Like if you hit those 3 points and you convince them of those 3 points in that same structure, vehicle, internal, external, like if they don't buy or if they don't do whatever it is you want them to do, they're lying to themselves, because you already wired their brain a different way. And the way that you do that, it's not just like telling them facts, or it's through storytelling.
Right.
Because they already have like a story in their brain running about like cold calling, or about why they can't cold call. Maybe they have like a story running of like how they got rejected and like they were freaking crying because they got rejected. So you have to rewire their like that story. So you pretty much take that story out of their brain and then you put in your story. Right. And then if you hit those 3 points, you pretty much get them on board. You
literally just gave a masterclass in 90 seconds.
It's really good. I recommend.
Appreciate it. That was really really insightful. Actually, that comes from the book.
Yeah, Expert. Well, I actually bought another program. It was like $10,000.
What's it called?
It's called Prime Mover by Russell Brunson.
Okay, that what you just told me makes 100% sense. And one of the biggest goals that we have this year is to eventually be selling on stage. One to many. To put more people in a favorable position, bro. I want the audience to understand.
It's all about giving them value.
That the reason why we learn these principles is not to benefit our pocket. Of course, we're going to make financial gain from it, but the people that make the most financial gain in this world are the ones that help others make financial gain as well. It's a
For sure.
circle. I really appreciate you sharing that, bro.
For
It really
sure.
makes a lot of sense. And even though we might do some of that naturally, like having that formula where it's the vehicle, internal, external, makes a lot of sense, bro. So you
For
just
sure.
you made everything. Now that it wasn't worth it already, you made it 100 times worth it.
For
with
sure.
that, with that
And I'm
value.
gonna gift you that book, by the way.
I really appreciate that, bro.
I'll ship it here.
I want to share something with you guys right here. I've done a lot of podcasts in the past. This was a very enjoyable one. People will remember the way you made them feel. Not what you said, not what you talked about, not the numbers that you brought up, but the way you made them feel. And he just, with that little gesture of sharing that value and, just the idea of gifting the book, bro, it's a book, goes a very long way, bro. So you're going to be super successful, and I appreciate the time, bro.
Thank you. I'm rooting for you too.
Yeah, bro.
Alexis, we're almost done. I want to ask you, in the next 5 to 10 years, what are your goals?
I want to have kids, bro. Yeah. That is like, obviously there's a bunch of financial goals, but I want to retire, not retire, because I don't think that idea is, I want to take care of my parents and make sure that they know they don't have to worry about money ever again. Travel the world, when my kids are here, be able to enjoy time with them. I want my family to feel a sense of security, which they do already because of where I'm at. And my sister just got her contract for her dentistry job, but she just graduated dental school, which is, my parents did a great job, man. If you guys are watching this, they did put us through a lot, but it all happened the right way because they have 2 amazing kids that are not doing anything that they shouldn't be doing, bro. Me and my sister really give our parents peace of mind. And what I want to do over the next 10 years is give my team members security, make sure that they understand that I'm very volatile and I do have a lot of running thoughts, but that I will always overcome those thoughts and I will always do what's best for them. I want my family, my team, and my future kids to feel secure, that they're always going to be taken care of. And that for me is, whatever financial goal aligns with that. Obviously we're talking about 8-9 figures. But more importantly, to take care of the people that are most important to me and to make the biggest impact possible. Whatever God has planned for us and whatever vision that is and how many people that might be, I'm here to serve, bro. I'm here to fucking go out there and help people, bro. Help people keep that little fire, like, you know what I'm saying? Like blow it and just explode it and put more good into the world, because I think there's a lot of evil out there and people have the wrong connotation with money. And I think money solves a lot of problems. And I was in that problem, bro. I remember I used to go to there was a BB&T on Sunset and like 107th. I remember how many times I had to go in there for the overdraft. Wow. And I've been in the trenches, bro. I've always thankfully had, food to eat and a place to live. I will say that. That's not my story. Where I come from, I didn't have a house or anything like that. Thankfully, that was never the case. But I come from humble beginnings and extravagant beginnings as well. So the next 10 years just looks like a lot of fun, a lot of traveling. But I want to get ready to have kids here in the next 3 or 4 years and get my parents and my grandma to have some fun with. Because if I'm crazy, these kids are gonna be crazy as shit too, bro. Yeah,
that's great.
Yeah,
that's amazing. Alexis, in one of your videos, you also mentioned that people should read How to Win Friends and Influence People. What other books would you recommend so that people become successful?
There's a good book that I always recommend that it's probably not one of the common ones. It's called It's All in Your Head by Russ. You know Russ, the rapper? Uh-huh. He wrote a really, really good book. It's a yellow book. It's called It's All in Your Head. We can probably link it in the video. It talks about his journey from being an underground rapper to where he's at now and how he visualized that process, how he dealt with the rejection, the resistance, and how you can really train your subconscious mind to give you whatever it is that you want. So I would recommend It's All in Your Head. And I mean, let me see what we have here. This is just a little bit of... the Grant Cardone books are good. Sell or Be Sold, 10X. The Art of Selling is really good. I forgot who the author is. It's a green book. Master the Art of Selling. There's a lot of good books, bro. I think it's very important to understand human psychology first and how we make decisions. What you just talked about, the vehicle, internal, external. People need to understand what they're talking about. That's a really good book right there.
Influence. I bought it. I haven't read it.
That's a really good book. I'm reading one now called The Power of the Subconscious Mind. I think books are great. I think podcasts are great. The biggest teacher is going to be experience. Your personal experience. Because no matter what somebody tells you through their lens, you need to live it through your lens to get the experience first. You know what the Cuban parents say? Te aprende con los golpes, right? Like my dad could tell me, yo, like when I started making my first $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 in a month, my dad sat me down and he goes, brother, calm down. It's gonna calm down. You're gonna hit problems. No, bro, you don't know what you're talking about. That was like in 2022. Most definitely hit some problems, right? So as much as a book is going to teach you, you're going to get these principles. Unless you apply these principles and you get a really good relationship going with failure, it's not going to work, bro. If you just overdose on books, podcasts, events, and trainings, and you're not an action taker, it's not going to work. The biggest separator that I have from people is that you tell me something now and it clicks, and I'm doing it yesterday. It was already done. I'm the kind of guy that I go to a training or a presentation, you tell me about a book, and it's ordered. Second, boom, ordered, read, done. Action, bro.
That's what life is about. Alexis, my last question is, what does success mean to Alexis?
Success is having an opportunity to pursue something. Because I've accomplished a lot of the things that I wanted to accomplish as a kid. And, you know, like the day that I spoke on the stage, the day that I bought my car, the day that I bought my house, the day that I hired my grandma, the day that I saw multiple six figures in my bank account, the month that I made over $100,000 in a month. Like, those are all great goals that I've set for myself that I've accomplished. But waking up and knowing that there's an opportunity to pursue more, that's success to me. And the messages that we receive from our students.
That's amazing.
That, like, whenever we speak or we do something and someone just says, you know, shares a positive message that this helped me, that to me is impact is success. That's why I always put on my Instagram, impact over income. Yeah.
I guess that's what really gives you.
Bro, the pursuit is I promise you, if you dumped $100 million in my bank account tomorrow, I'll be like, get that shit out of my account. I don't want it. I swear to God, I don't want it. I didn't work for it. That's why the whole idea of like the lottery and stuff is crazy to me. It's about the pursuit, bro. I'm sure you've interviewed some very successful individuals. These people like Russell Brunson, Grant. It's the why are they still working? It's the pursuit. There is no I made it moment. There is no retirement. It's the pursuit and the impact you're going to continue to cause until the day that your eyes close and you're done, bro. That's it.
That's so powerful. Alexis, thank you very much for being on the show. Like,
Appreciate
so
it,
many golden nuggets. Like,
Appreciate it,
you don't understand. Like, it's crazy. We're going to get some really good clips from this podcast. But thank you very much. I want you to know that I'm rooting for you.
I appreciate it, bro.
At this point, I mean, we had kind of a long conversation, so I just want you to know that I wish you like much success, and I consider you a friend at this point. Like, yes. I feel like I've known you my whole life from this short conversation. I'm gonna get you that book. It's a great book, and I hope you read it like in 2 or 3 days, because it can really change your life. And
what you said changed a lot of stuff for us right now. Yeah,
for sure.
And I want to leave people with this, if you don't mind. I really appreciate what you just said. If you guys have been thinking about going to an event, joining a team, or just doing something new, I swear to you guys, we're at a very advanced level of entrepreneurship. The 90 seconds that you share with us completely transformed a lot of stuff in my head. Go to that event, join that program, join that person. People have knowledge, and the closer you are to these people, the faster you guys can learn, and it doesn't have to take a long time. So start putting that foot forward and do something you didn't do last year. That way you don't have the same result.
For sure. Yeah, I think I saw a clip from, I think it's the School of Hard Knocks, right? That podcast.
That guy's crushing it, man. Super happy.
I saw that he made a video where he was interviewing himself, and he asked himself, like, is there a shortcut to success? I don't know if you saw it. And then he mentioned that the only shortcut to success is mentorship. Yeah. And I feel like that's such a like mind shift, right?
Absolutely.
Because you can really shortcut the path to success, because you're learning from other people's experiences and like what they've gone through. But I really thank you for sharing your knowledge, bro. And I wish you the absolute best.
I appreciate it, bro. Can we share one more thought?
Yes,
that you just mentioned there?
Of course.
Because I think it's important.
If you want to keep sharing golden nuggets, go ahead.
No, I'll say this, because the only thing holding majority of people back from mentorship and coaching and events and masterminds is money, and the thought process behind the limitation in their life of money currently. But I want to share this with you guys. The only thing that is infinite in this world is money. It is infinite. It is being printed. It is being reproduced. The only thing that is finite is your human time on this earth. If I can shortcut you, if you can shortcut me, if anybody can shortcut your path to success by sharing their experience and condensing your learning curve, that is worth every penny you have at your disposal. If you have to ask for it, if you have to finance it, if you have to work for it, it'll cost you way more to spend 5, 6, 7, 8 more years trying to figure it out on your own than figuring out a way to get access to the infinite resources we have on this universe to shortcut that time. The only thing holding you back is the way you think about it, your perspective. That's it.
Incredible.
We'll leave it at that.
Alexis, thank you very much.
Thank you, bro.